All right, good morning. So we are going to do a short lesson this morning on qualified plans. So a lot of these sessions come from client meetings I've had during the course of the week. And I had somebody call me the other day about, hey, I want to set up they hear bits and pieces of information from books, YouTube, or whatever they're listening in, and so so I get a lot of questions about when I say qualified plan. Here's what I mean. I'm talking about 401ks, IRAs, Roth IRAs, 457s, 403bs, government qualified or government sponsored retirement plans. Okay. So basically the same thing. Roth is a little bit of a different animal, and we'll probably cover that on another interview. So I'm going to kind of keep this short. And then if you stay to the end, I have a free report that are going to be in the show notes that you can get called Qualified Plans. Are you financing your future or Uncle Sam's? Oh, sorry about that. What we're going to do is let's do this. And let's share my screen. See if we can do that. Yep, there we go. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see this. And so this is, what we call, and, so if I start all of our conversations, we try to teach our clients about what we call their personal economic model. Everybody's got a personal economy. Some is bigger than others, and others is bigger than yours. But I would say the main thing that we have in common is that we want our personal economy to grow. So most people think, again, the key to growing their personal economy is investing, right? And most people are looking for ways to invest. They want better investments that pay a higher rate of return. So they're always chasing investments. But the only way to grow that, or the main way, and I think this is a good thing to grow your investing or your investments through chasing returns, is you have to get comfortable with taking new risk. I remember when I was I was in that marketplace as a registered rep. We would do these asset allocation risk profile questionnaires. So basically, how much money would you be comfortable losing? Okay. And but I go back to, as you study more, because the main thing that we try to do is, I don't tell people what they should be investing in. I want you to understand how money works. And because investing, as we always say, is not about buying something, it's about becoming something. And all of the things that you hear, they're tools. Okay. There are tactics. Most people are selling tactics, but we have to go to the principle, then the strategy, and then the tactics. So most people are preoccupied with what I call their yellow tank. Okay. And if there's three parts to this game, I would say that investing is the last thing you should be worried about, with the first one being saving, paying yourself first. The second one, these are in order, is protection and learning how to play defense. And then there's a couple in between, but I'm just going to hit the highlights. And then, and only then, do we talk to people about investing, because most people need to be capitalizing, which is building up money, building up savings. If you have savings, you can find plenty of places to employ your money. And also the other caveat is to learn how to focus on things that generate revenue if you're trying to build financial independence. So let's look at qualified plans for a second. All right, let's go back. So, oops, that's not what I want to do. Let's go back. So let's look at qualified plans. So what are they? We talked about that, right? So let's look at your what we call your lifetime potential capital. So what most people do is they work and then they contribute to, let's say, their 401k. If you work at a nonprofit, a school, you're a teacher, something like that, in a hospital, then we contribute monies to our qualified plans pre-tax. Okay, and uh, and so that's it. So this is how. So let's let's break this down. So this is how most people see their plan. One is here's a little caveat. Most people think the qualified plan is the investment, and it's not. You know, your qualified plan can be in mutual funds, it can be in equities. You know, there are people, I wouldn't do this, but they're buying Bitcoin with their qualified plans. You start seeing those advertisements. Um, they're self-directed IRAs, which is a whole other. It's actually, the rules are the same. It's just that there are companies that specialize in that, and you can buy, you know, alternative investments. You could buy real estate with your IRA. I wouldn't really do that either, even though a lot of people promote that. I'll show you why in a second. But I would, you know, you can buy life settlements. You can do private lending with your IRA or your Roth IRA, which I like that idea. I like those ideas. Alternative for growth, cash flow. But for real estate, I wouldn't put a tax favored vehicle inside of a tax deferred vehicle. So let me show you why I say that. So you see your plan as a place to save today without paying tax today. Okay. The money in the account is yours. This is how you see it. But here's how the IRS sees the plan. They see it as a place to tax in the future. Okay. And the money in the account is yours and theirs. All right. And so qualified plans basically do two things fundamentally. They defer taxes. Okay. And they defer the tax calculation. Okay. And I would say the more accurate word is they postpone the tax and they postpone the tax calculation. Okay. And so when you use the proper definitions, then you have to ask yourself, what do I think in the future? Will my taxes will taxes be higher, lower, or the same? And so most people say higher, but you have to think about that. See, it's your money. You have to think strategically. I'm not going to tell you what to do in this video, but you have to ask yourself the right questions. And so if future rates are lower, you'll have more. If future rates are higher, you will have less. All right. And so let me just show you the history of taxation in the United States. Okay. So this is, let's say you do well, and you should have at least this, and I'll, you know, another video, I'll show you how this is not even enough. But let's say you had $1 million. And so first of all, let's look at this. So in 1913, it was like, okay, let's tax the rich, because there was no income tax before then. Okay. It was not constitutional to have a direct tax on income. And so the so 7%, I'm trying to make this thing stay hover, is so it was like a 7% tax on the rich people. Anybody making over $500,000 a year, let's tax the wealthy. Thank you, Elizabeth Warren. And so all right, I'm gonna stop. All right, and so what happens is then it went up World War One. So they were 77% if you made over $1 million. Then they dropped it to 73%. Then they dropped the taxes to 43%, but they also lowered the threshold to 200,000 so more people could be taxed. Then they dropped it to 25%. Then we had World War II. This was as high 91%. So this is the time when Ronald Reagan, who became president, was an actor, and he was making, like, I think 50,000 a movie. He would do no more than 4 movies a year, because everything he made over 400,000, he would basically only making 9 cents out of every dollar. So he stopped making movies. Very smart. And so you see where it dropped. right? This is right. So look what happens. This is Reagan. He dropped the taxes to let people keep more of their money, but tax revenue went higher because he dropped the threshold to 29. You know the threshold was 29,000 in 1988. This is Bush. This is President Clinton. This is Bush 2. This is President Obama. This is President Trump. So I would argue you could make an argument that taxes are on sale. And so, because let's look at this. So let's do a quick, hopefully y'all can see this. This is, so go to usdebtclock.org. I'm hoping y'all can see this. Let me see if I can make this bigger. So look at this. So this is, so we don't have a revenue problem, right? So this is the tax revenue, $3.4 trillion of annual tax revenue. And we're spending, so think about this. You're making $3,400 a month, but you spend $66.91 a month, and you finance the rest of it on a credit card, which is this. This is a huge, the national debt. All right. So that is what's going on. And so the challenge is down here, see where it says unfunded liabilities? Okay. Liability persistent, $483. Medicare liability, $32 trillion. Social Security liability, because there's no money in Social Security. And, you know, it goes to the states. This is a fascinating chart. So you got to ask yourself, after stimulus, wars, all these things that are unpaid for, you know, because, you know, I'm all favor for cutting taxes, but you have to cut spending at the same time, because the only thing you did when taxes got cut, well, this jumped because we're just financing all of this government. Okay. So you've got to ask yourself, when people are giving you free stuff, is it really free? Okay. And you got to ask yourself that. So I'm not going on a commentary deeper than that, but just look at the numbers and think, guys, it's your money, it's your life. Okay. You have to think. And so what happens is, if you, so let's say people will tell you when, oh, well, you're going to be at a lower tax bracket when you retire. Will you? What evidence is that? Because the only way your tax bracket is lower is if you make less money, meaning you're poor or less rich than you were before, or less affluent, or whatever. You have less money. And so is that your objective? Just saying. And so what happens is, so when you really look at it, if you've got 690, let's say you have $1 million, well, your share is $690,000, and you know the government gave you a tax break on the seed. So think about this: if you're a farmer, and I gave you the opportunity to have a tax break on your seed, and I will let you know I'm going to tax your harvest down the road, and I'll let you know how much I need. So I'm going to tax your harvest at an unknown tax rate, or would you rather pay tax on the seed and receive your harvest tax free? And so most people would, if it was explained that way, would choose the latter. They'd rather have a tax-free harvest. But this is what over 90% of people do. They're paying tax on the seed, saving tax on the seed, allowing money to go in tax deferred. And then what happens is, this $1 million is your harvest. And so now that's a bigger number, right? And so now you're getting taxed on your harvest. So if it's $1 million, if you're in a 30% or 31% tax bracket, if you're in a 40% tax bracket, if you're fortunate and you have a lot of income, and you have to pull a lot of money out of this to maintain your standard of living, that money, when it comes out of qualified plans, is taxed as ordinary income. Okay. So it's important to know how this works. So here's the thing. Here's what you want to consider. A company matches. People say, oh, I get the match. I got to get the free money. Yes. Okay. And what it does, it increases the total contribution in your account. But the company match is taxable, but it can offset the future liability. So what happens is, you have more money than you would have had, but what it does is it pays for that share that's going to Uncle Sam. It helps offset that. Okay. That's really all it does. You're not getting because you put in 50, you're getting 100% return, and some of this math people do. That's not how it works. Okay, so it is a good thing, can be a good thing to, if they fund it, we teach our clients, okay, fund it to the match. You just need to understand how it works and make sure that you don't have anything better to do with the money. Okay, because the problem is most people put too much money over here and they don't have any money in their liquid account. So when they have opportunities, you can't really access this money. So I like people starting paying themselves first, and paying themselves first is saving. Okay. And you can do this, but you need to build, if you don't have, if I got a new person, they're starting, they're not vested yet, I don't have them start. I recommend against that. I want you to get 3 to 6 months liquid first, so that you've got capital to deal with problems. Think about what liquidity would have helped you with the COVID. One of the things that the government did was the CARES Act that allowed you to access some of this money, but it was literally an act of Congress to let you access your money without penalty. Okay. And so, do you want to do all that stuff where you could just put it here anyway? Okay. From the get-go. So you've got to look at that. And so plans offer little or no access during the accumulation period. So you literally put your money in a box for 20 or 30 years. Okay. On the only way in a situation where you can't control the outcome of the equity markets, right? You've nothing to do with that. The only thing you can do is put more money in. And there's RMDs, required minimum distributions, required at age 72, because government needs their money, so they're going to let you hold it, but we need you to start using it because that creates a taxable event for them. Okay, and so if you don't take it, you get a 50% penalty on what you don't take. Okay, so that's a bummer. Okay, and taxes and a 10% penalty apply on withdrawals before 59 and a half. So that's how they work. So it's really just, hey, this is how they work. And so you have to make a decision as to, is this where do I fund this? I think, yeah, you do, but you need to know how they work. See, most people just don't know how they work, and they're getting their advice from HR. Okay. And, or, financial entertainers. And what you want to be able to do, I believe, is to look at how they work, and then be able to make a good, choice for yourself through education. So it's all about education. So if you like more like this, what I invite you to do is text qualified plans, all one word, to 833-422-0250, and we'll get out to you a quick report on understanding qualified plans. Are you financing your future or Uncle Sam's? That's a bit provocative, I know, but just read it. It's a good report. All right. Talk to you guys later. Have a great day.